My girlfriend dumped me because I wanted to check if she was. To see if she was okay. After she didn't answer for 4 days. My girlfriend lives in my block of flats. And I met her one day in September when I was out walking my dog. We ended up going on a date that same night and pretty much almost immediately we hit it off. We started spending time together almost every day. We spent whole weekends together, doing fun things. And I really enjoyed her company as I started to fall in love with her. In November, my friend warned me that from the middle of the month until the 15th of, she would be unavailable. I thought that meant I wouldn't see her as much. But I didn't realize it meant that communication would be almost non-existent. She stopped texting me things like, "I miss you" or "Good night, handsome." The gaps between texts got longer. After a few days of this, I spoke to her and asked if everything was okay. Both her and us. She explained that we were fine, but that she was just incredibly busy and hardly had the energy for anything except work and sleep. Maybe stop to eat. She apologized for making me feel, and said she would try to do better. As time went on, 2 weeks passed without any significant time together. I only saw her a couple of times in passing, for about 5 minutes. Eventually, my texts and calls started to go unanswered. The last time we spoke on the phone, she mentioned that if I got off work early enough on the following Saturday, I could come over and we could hang out. That night, I called her, but it went straight to voicemail. When I got home, I was walking my dog, and noticed that the lights in her flat were out. I texted her that it looked like she had passed out, and that I hoped she had slept well. I didn't hear back for 3 whole days. Her car didn't seem to have moved, and her flat lights were never on. When I walked by, I started to worry because I knew she was struggling with some health issues, was super stressed, hated her job, and seemed to have symptoms of depression. I texted her again, saying I just wanted to check in, and that I was worried. When I didn't hear back for so long, still no reply that day. The next day I was very worried. I couldn't think of anything else. I contacted her best friend and asked her when she had last heard from her. She told me it had been the previous week. I expressed my concern and said that I wanted to respect her space, but I was really worried and was thinking about checking up on her. Her friend told me that 4 days was plenty of time, and encouraged me to go and check on her. I went to her flat during my lunch break. My anxiety was through the roof. Her house still seemed dark and the blinds were drawn. I knocked on the door. I rang the bell. Still no answer. I knocked harder, then rang again. But there was still no answer. I knocked so hard that I thought she might hear it from the bedroom. Finally, I saw the typing bubble appear on my phone. "I am on a bloody client call. Stop knocking." I immediately left feeling terrible. I sent a text apologizing and explained that I was just really worried about her. I later added that I realized I had overstepped the mark with a knocking and was very sorry. Another day passed with no reply. I spoke to my father, who pointed out that it didn't seem like she was treated me or communicated well. I told him that I just wanted to talk to her, but I was worried about looking crazy or making things worse. He asked me what would really change if I tried again, because at least I could get some clarity. So I sent her a text, saying that I was coming over in 5 minutes to talk, because it was really important. I went over and rang her doorbell, no answer. I felt defeated. I went home and wrote a long text, telling her how much I liked her, and how the situation made me feel. I told her that I felt ignored and treated as less important. I explained that I needed some communication, and that even a single text would go a long way. I emphasized that this wasn't an ultimatum, but that I really needed to hear from her. The next morning, I saw that she had sent a long text at around 4 a.m. She explained how busy she had been, working 14-hour days and crashing afterwards. She said she barely had the energy to get to her desk. She repeated that she had told me that she would be unavailable. She questioned my behavior, coming to her door and banging on it while she was working was incredibly inappropriate. She said her car had clearly been moved, and made it clear that what I was doing during working hours crossed the line for her. I hadn't realized that unavailable meant absolutely no contact, or that I would be contact, or that I wouldn't be able to see her at all. But in one fell swoop, I ended my relationship with someone I cared about very much. All because I couldn't deal with my anxiety and be patient. Update 11 days later. My last post kind of blew up, so I thought some people might appreciate an update. I mentioned at the end of my original post that she had sent me a text message the next morning, telling me how much I had messed up and crossed a hard line. I responded to this text with an apology, saying that I had let my fear and that I wanted to work on things. I told her I was going to therapy to deal with my own issues, as she hadn't explicitly said we were over. I asked her to clarify where we stood and if she was finished. I also said that otherwise, I would not contact her until I heard back from her. As of today, it has been 12 days, and she has not replied to me at all. These last 12 days have been terrible for my mental well-being. Yesterday, I decided to just move on and give myself my own closure. I've realized a lot of important things through this experience. I realized that I didn't do anything wrong. Being unavailable does not mean disappearing and dropping off the face of the earth for days, ignoring the outside world. I did nothing wrong by going to check on her. I was acting out of love, care, and concern. I did what I would hope a partner would do for me. No one is too busy to send a single text in 4 days. I realized I needed to take care of myself and enforce my own boundaries. I also learned some important I have in relationships. I recognized my own codependent and anxious tendencies that I need to work on. I also realized that there were many red flags about this woman that I had ignored. For the past 12 days I've been doing meditation, journaling, and a daily gratitude practice. I've started therapy and gone back to the gym. I've also spoken to her best friend again, who hasn't heard from her for about as long as I have. The silence isn't just personal to me, which made me feel a little better for a while. But I'm still angry. I'm angry at the way I've been treated throughout this whole process. I know this is a very busy time for her, and I know she is struggling, but I still have needs, and she has chosen to be my friend. These are needs that, for whatever reason, she seems incapable of meeting. To leave someone who loves and cares for you in the dark for 12 days, when you live only 3 minutes away, is unfriendly at best. I still don't know what's going on in her head, and I don't know if I ever will. I would still be open to talking to her and listening to her, but I'm highly unlikely to take her back. I deserve better, I think. My biggest realization is that I can give myself, let go, take care of myself, and still love her and the people around me. I wish I could snap my fingers and get over her, but I know it's going to take some time. Thank you all for the reassurance, kind words, and those who have reached out to support me.